Imagine a papal procession unlike any other. The year is 855 AD. The streets of Rome teem with the faithful. All eyes are on Pope Joan, the head of the Catholic Church. He processes through the throngs, carried on a gilded throne. Suddenly, the unthinkable happens. The Pope cries out in pain, the crowd gasps. This is not the divine order. The procession erupts in chaos. The weight of history seems to shift. The crowd's cheers turn to murmurs, then to shrieks. The impossible has occurred. The Pope, thought to be a man, has given birth. The legend of Pope Joan, the woman who dared to claim the papacy, begins. The 9th century was a time of upheaval. The Carolingian Empire, spanning much of Western Europe, was in flux. The Church, a beacon of stability, faced internal strife and external threats. It was in this tumultuous world that a young woman of exceptional intelligence and ambition was born. According to legend, her name was Joan. Joan, blessed with a sharp mind and thirst for knowledge, pursued education disguised as a man. She excelled in her studies. She rose through the ranks of the clergy, her true identity concealed. Her ambition knew no bounds. Eventually she reached the pinnacle of religious authority. She became Pope John VIII, her secret safely guarded. Or so she thought. For a time Joan ruled as Pope. History remembers her reign as unremarkable. Yet the weight of her secret must have been immense. The fear of discovery would have been a constant companion. Every public appearance, every interaction, was a risk. The legend tells of a pope who was compassionate and just, a stark contrast to some of the more ruthless pontiffs of the time. But the charade couldn't last forever. The truth, as they say, will always find a way out. The Church's response to the legend of Pope Joan has been one of denial and suppression. Official Vatican records omit her from the list of popes. Historians have long debated her existence, dismissing her story as myth or fabrication. The official stance of the Church is clear: a woman could never have ascended to the papacy, yet the legend persisted. It was whispered in hushed tones, passed down through generations. Joan's story became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the supposed dangers of female ambition. But it also became a beacon of hope for some, a testament to the possibility of breaking down even the most formidable barriers. Despite the Church's attempts to erase her from history, Joan's story refused to be silenced. It surfaced in various forms throughout the Middle Ages. Medieval chronicles and texts make mention of a female pope, often with varying details but consistent in the core narrative. Even within the Church itself, the story circulated. These accounts, whether based on fact or fiction, demonstrate the enduring power of the story. It captured the imaginations of people across Europe. It challenged the established order and raised uncomfortable questions about power, gender, and the nature of truth itself. Perhaps the most intriguing piece of the puzzle is the sedia stercoraria. This chair-like object with a strategically placed hole was said to be used in papal enthronement ceremonies. The purpose, to verify the Pope's gender. The very existence of such an object, whether real or imagined, speaks volumes. Was it a crude method of safeguarding against another Pope Joan incident? Or was it merely a bizarre historical footnote, its true purpose lost to time? The sedia stercoraria remains a tangible link to the legend, a physical manifestation of the anxieties that Joan's story evoked. Section 7. Echoes in Metal and Ink. Beyond texts and whispers, could there be more concrete evidence to support Joan's existence? Some researchers point to papal coins and maps from the period. These artifacts display imagery and inscriptions that deviate from the norm, potentially hinting at a female presence on the papal throne. While open to interpretation, these pieces of physical evidence add another layer to the mystery. Were these deliberate alterations, subtle nods to a truth concealed? Or are they merely coincidental variations, given undue weight by those determined to prove Joan's existence? Section 8. The Power of Belief. The enduring appeal of the Pope Joan legend lies in its ability to challenge the established order. In a time when women were largely relegated to the shadows, the idea of a woman rising to the highest echelons of power, even through deception, was both thrilling and subversive. The story resonated with those who felt marginalized or oppressed. It gave voice to the voiceless and offered a glimmer of hope in a world where power seemed unassailable. The fact that such a story could be told and retold speaks to the inherent human desire for change and the questioning of authority. Section 9. A Legacy of Intrigue. The legend of Pope Joan continues to fascinate and divide us centuries later. Whether fact or fiction, her story has had a profound impact on history and how we view gender roles. It serves as a reminder that history is not always as it seems. Joan's story compels us to question the narratives we are told, and to seek out the hidden stories that often lie beneath the surface. It reminds us that truth can be elusive, and that sometimes the most powerful stories are those that challenge our deeply held beliefs. Section 10. Beyond the Papal Tiara. The legend of Pope Joan, regardless of its veracity, transcends the boundaries of time and place. It speaks to universal themes of ambition, identity, and the pursuit of power. It reminds us that the human story is complex and often contradictory. Ultimately, the question of whether Pope Joan truly existed may never be definitively answered, but perhaps that is beside the point. The power of her story lies not in its factual accuracy, but in its ability to spark our imaginations and challenge our preconceived notions. The legend of Pope Joan serves as a powerful reminder that history is not merely a collection of facts and figures, but a tapestry woven from stories that have the power to shape our understanding of the world and ourselves.